Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a special Saturday morning edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. I am your host, Richard Holdridge. I'm glad to be here. And this is going to be a recap show as we had a late night last night. It is the first week of high school football in the Chattahoochee Valley, as I had the privilege of calling the Glenwood Pacelli game with Thrift Behringer on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and that was a success. And we also had a successful high school game day show where the guest picker was DJ Jones, and also the Glenwood head basketball coach of the boys and girls team, Dusty Purdue, was also a guest picker as well. And it was a lot of fun. Basically, this is going to be a show in preparation for the weekly show that Thrift Behringer and I are doing tomorrow night on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Usually, when I do my show on the Sports Beat, it's aired 5 days a week on WQEE from 2 to 3. And I just love talking sports. I break down as much sports as I can, going through all of the sporting events in the Chattahoochee Valley. And with high school football season here, it is going to be very difficult to try to get as much stuff in a show because I only have an hour. I may have to cut back on the guests because there's so much content to get into where I may just have to talk about it all and I just won't have time to get a guest on. But next week's show, I do plan on having Gabe Reynolds. I do plan on having Tanya Chavez. I might even have Thrift Behringer on. I think that he is going to start being a weekly guest. And so we are going to have a crossover show, the Sports Beat, Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And really, this show is presented by Georgia Alabama Sports Live. So go and like the Facebook page, go and like the YouTube channel. That is where we are going to be live streaming games, 15 to 20 high school games in the Chattahoochee Valley. Thrift Behringer and I are going to be live streaming. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Week one was very busy, especially in the state of Georgia. The public schools for Alabama does not start until next week. And I will get into a preview of week two, but let's go ahead and recap week one. Let's start with the game the Thrift and I called. Glenwood, statement win over the St. Anne Vikings, 38-12. Dallas Crow in that first half, he was just moving the ball up and down the field on that Pacelli defense, which is a young defense. Pacelli had some signs. Jacob Brown with a touchdown pass. Pacelli looked good at times, but Glenwood has proven why they are ranked number one in the AISA, because Dallas Crow on offense, 2 touchdown passes. Lamont Burton on defense seems like he was on in every tackle. He had double-digit tackles for the Glenwood Gators. And congratulations to head coach Ryan Nelson for picking up the win. Glenwood is 1-0 on the season. They will take on the Brookstone Cougars at Mack Strong Stadium next week. Don't forget that you can watch the Glenwood Coaches Show Monday night at Mike and Ed's Barbecue, as the head basketball coach, Dusty Purdue, hosts that, and the head coach, Ryan Nelson. It was a success last week, and we are going to recap that Pacelli game and preview the upcoming Brookstone game for the Glenwood Gators. All right, let's go over to the other side of the river. At A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium, a rivalry renewed. They're no longer region opponents. The Carver Tigers, they get a statement win over the Hardaway Hawks, 47-6. And if you haven't heard about this running back that Carver has, Deontay Childs with 4 rushing touchdowns. Carver is known for having big-time running backs, Isaiah Crowell, Flip Creedle, Jamari Riley, now Deontay Childs. The Carver Tigers get a big victory over the Hardaway Hawks, and they get ready to take on the Spencer Green Wave in the Heritage Bowl next week. Speaking of Spencer down at Otis Spencer Stadium gets the victory over Greenville, 65-19. And so you got 2 1-0 teams that are going to be playing each other next week in the Heritage Bowl at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. I cannot wait for that game. That is going to be just an awesome game. Spencer has not beaten Carver since 2017. In fact, Carver has won 20 of the last 21 games against the Spencer Green Wave. So looking forward to that. And really, it brings the city of Columbus together. The oldest rivalry. You have the two oldest schools in Columbus facing off against each other. It is always an event, and I expect to see a lot of people out there at A.J. McClung Memorial Stadium. At Kinnett Stadium, well, I think the Northside Patriots, they put on a statement, 58-0 over the Columbus Blue Devils. And the visitor side of the bleachers for the Northside Patriots was packed. They were the visiting team, even though Kinnett Stadium is their home stadium. The Northside Patriots, I know they're missing Malachi Hosley. He was 85% of the offense last year, but Northside back on track as they get the victory over the Columbus Blue Devils. And I don't think they've skipped a beat. I think Caden Clay, a good quarterback, he's able to get the job done, and they've got a big game at Kinnett Stadium next week. It will be a home game as they will take on the LaGrange Grangers, who fall to 0-1 after losing to Carver of Atlanta 28-12 in their opener in Callaway Stadium. Over in Morgan. Thank you. Over in Callaway Stadium, we had the Harris County Tigers taking on the Troup County Tigers, a border war between these two longtime rivals. And Troup gets the 31-7 victory over Harris County. Harris County's going to be back in action. Their home opener, Hamilton, Georgia, taking on Russell County. And I have the privilege to announce here on this show that I will be calling this game on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And I'm excited. I was the public address announcer for Russell County in 2021. I called all their home games last season on CTV Beam and the CW Jabama. I'm looking forward to seeing Russell County in their opener, and it will be a road contest against the Harris County Tigers, the 5A school that did make the playoffs with a 2-8 record, but they are looking to continue to improve under second-year head coach Tommy Watson. And the Harris County Tigers, Russell County, both similar schools. I mean, they're on the outskirts of Columbus, and it seems like whether you're in Seal, Alabama, or Hamilton, Georgia, it seems like the entire town shuts down and they're at the football stadium. Durham Field is such a nice side. I actually went to a scrimmage game last year when they were playing LaGrange, and I just love seeing the mountains in the background. Hamilton, Georgia, you got the big water tower. In the background, you could see the FDR State Park and just the mountains. It's just incredible up there in that Hamilton Pine Mountain area between Columbus and LaGrange. Harris County, about 30 minutes from Columbus, considered part of Columbus, trying to give Harris County some love. And I'm excited to be live streaming a game between the Russell County Warriors and the Harris County Tigers. All right. We did have some teams in Columbus that were on the road last night. The Shaw Raiders, they dropped a heartbreaker to Marion County down in Buena Vista, 16-15. They were up 15-2 in this game. Nicholas Bates, the starting quarterback, he did have 2 touchdowns. The Shaw Raiders will take on another 0-1 team next week. It's a Thursday night game at Otis Spencer Stadium as they will take on the Kendrick Cherokees, who also fell on the road to Seminole County. And so you got 2 0-1 teams facing off against each other next week at Otis Spencer Stadium. We had a huge upset in Manchester. You know, Manchester went to the second round of the playoffs last year. They fell to the eventual state champions, Bowden. Well, they defeated Bowden in Manchester 21-20, a huge upset. Schley County, the runner-up to Bowden in the state playoffs, they get a statement win over the team that they lost to open the season last year, Tatnall Square Academy, 61-20. And Schley County is filled with stars, including 4-star wide receiver Jalouis Solomon, who's verbally committed to Auburn, and Jake Kanzada is their starting quarterback, and he looked incredible. So much action in high school football. Southland Academy defeated Taylor County 16-8. And another big upset. The Calvary Christian Knights get the 21-20 victory over the Gap State champions, Cherokee Christian, in triple overtime. Congratulations to head coach Emmanuel Brunson, picking up his first victory of the season. Calvary is in action at home against Lanier Christian Academy next week. I did not get into all the games for week 2. It is time to preview week 2 because we have a massive slate of games for week 2. Just a reminder, don't forget that we have the preview show, scoreboard show for Georgia Alabama Sports Live tomorrow. Thrift Behringer and I will be live on the Georgia Alabama Sports Live Facebook and YouTube page. So check it out. Go in, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. And you definitely will enjoy it. It has really been fun covering not only all these high school teams in the Chattahoochee Valley, but, you know, I'm going in, I'm doing my research, I'm finding out the history of these schools. I'm writing about it in the Chattahoochee Valley Living. The next edition of the Chattahoochee Valley Living, I do have an op-ed piece talking about high school football and what it means in this community. And personally, as a broadcaster, I just want to give these student athletes the best coverage they possibly deserve. I mean, it's really what they deserve because it's a way for them to get exposed. All right, now let's go to week 2. We do have some Thursday night games at Kinnett Stadium. It is the Columbus Blue Devils taking on the Jordan Red Jackets. You got the longest tenured coach in the Chattahoochee Valley, Coach Phil Marino, for the Columbus Blue Devils. You have third-year head football coach Cadell Jenkins, who has resurrected this Jordan Red Jackets program. They finished the entire season last year. Even though they didn't win a game, the Jordan Red Jackets are looking to improve, and I'm really excited about this game. This is going to be one of many Thursday night games that Thrift Behringer and I will be calling on Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and I am super ecstatic to be calling Columbus and Jordan. We also have a game that was originally supposed to be played on Friday. I think that they're really trying to make sure that everybody comes to the Heritage Bowl or something, because you had Troup County at Hardaway. It was supposed to be played at A.J. McClung or Otis Spencer, not sure what stadium they're going to be played at. It's going to be played at Memorial Stadium. It's being moved to Thursday. Troup County 1-0 on the season, taking on the Hardaway Hawks, former region opponents. They're both in 4A. They're just in different regions now. The Shaw Raiders taking on Kendrick at Otis Spencer Stadium. And then we have the Kickoff Classic at the Cramden Bowl in Montgomery. We got a doubleheader. Starting on Thursday, we have the Beauregard Hornets. They surprised everybody last year when they made the playoffs. Yes, they're going to be missing their running back, Ja'Cory Tarver. He was the workhorse, carried most of the rushes, and had just a workload for the Beauregard Hornets. They're taking on Southside Selma at the Cramden Bowl. And then on Friday, we have a massive neutral site game for this Kickoff Classic. We have the Opelika Bulldogs, led by head coach Eric Speakman. Their senior quarterback, Roman Gagliano, is really an experienced quarterback, but he's going to have his hands full because they are taking on the 4-time state champions, the Thompson Warriors, led by their freshman quarterback, Trent Seaburn. It is going to be an epic battle at the Cramden Bowl, and looking forward to this Kickoff Classic. This is always a tradition in the Alabama High School Athletic Association. Every year, there are 4 teams that are playing in the Kickoff Classic at the Cramden Bowl. And you got Beauregard and Selma on Thursday. You got Opelika and Thompson on Friday. The Central Red Devils, they are in action on the road up against Hewitt-Trussville. This is a battle of 2 top 5 schools in the AHSA. Got that second A in there. Auburn taking on Hoover, another top 5 battle. It's clear that the top 5 teams in 7A are Thompson, Central, Auburn, Hoover, and Hewitt-Trussville. You know that these 5 schools are going to end up meeting in the playoffs. That is a big matchup. Remember, Hoover beat Thompson last year in the regular season. Hoover's a very talented team. Coach Etheridge, he had the 2 quarterback system at Auburn. Davis Harsin has transferred out, obviously because of circumstances, but Auburn still a very talented, cool school. They are cool. They went to the state championship against the Thompson Warriors last year, but they fell in the state championship. Some other schools in Georgia, I forgot to mention this one. Cedartown taking on Callaway. Are you kidding me? What a game. Cedartown ranked second in 4A behind Benedictine, taking on the Callaway Cavaliers. As Callaway, they lost to Cedartown 47-7 on the road. This time, the game is at Callaway Stadium on Friday. And is the only action in LaGrange because Troup County and LaGrange are on the road. A big shout out to Kevin Eckleberry of BTV Sports for providing all the coverage for LaGrange, Troup County, Callaway. I've had him on the show. He's been a great guest, and he's really passionate about covering these incredible high school football teams in Troup County. You have the Hanley Tigers taking on the Valley Rams. That's going to be at Ram Stadium. Tatnall Square Academy taking on the Pacelli Vikings. Excuse me. Tatnall Square Academy taking on the St. Anne Pacelli Vikings at Dimel Field. It is going to be the home opener for head coach Dwight Jones and the defending GIAA champions from last season, the Pacelli Vikings. Glenwood is at Brookstone. This is going to be the opener for Brookstone. You can catch this game on WTVM. And a big shout out to Jonathan Hoppy and Tony Reese. I had the privilege of watching Sports Overtime last night. A big shout out to Jack Patterson and Tyler Redmond. I watched the Prep Zone last night. So they both start at 11:15. What I did was I recorded both and I watched them later. I appreciate the work that you guys do because it allows me to have a show where I do a podcast where I get into depth about all these high school football teams. And that's just what I love doing. And it prepares me for tomorrow's show on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. All right, here we go. Beulah. I know the Beulah Bobcats do not get a whole lot of love. They were 1-9 last year. They won their Jamboree game, but they're going to be on the road against Abbeville. And I'm going to try to make sure to give love to the Beulah Bobcats as they are a 3A school just outside of Valley. And they're looking to turn their season around after going 1-9. You got Heritage at Chambers Academy. Border War. Heritage is a GIAA school out of Newnan, Georgia, taking on a Chambers Academy team that did lose a close contest to Lee Scott Academy 14-7 on Thursday night. And then you have LaGrange taking on Northside. LaGrange fell to Carver of Atlanta 28-12. This was a 14-12 game. The Panthers of Carver, Atlanta had the 2-point lead. LaGrange was about to punch it in, but then a scoop and score by the Carver safety, and then Carver got a pick six, and that was the difference in this game. Otherwise, LaGrange is a very talented team. They did defeat Northside 56-28 last season up at Callaway Stadium. This time, the game is going to be at Kinnett Stadium, and Kinnett Stadium is going to be completely packed. The LaGrange faithful will make that trip down to Columbus. I've seen the LaGrange fan base. I work in LaGrange. When I'm out and about, like when I'm on my lunch break at work and I go to eating places, on game day, you see nothing but blue. LaGrange has blue just about everywhere, and they will take on the Northside Patriots, who Northside has a very good fan base. I expect Kinnett Stadium to be packed. And then, am I missing anybody? No. That is it for Friday. We do have a special doubleheader on Saturday. Part of the kickoff classic at Dan Washburn Stadium in Lynette, Alabama. You have these 4 teams that play each other every year. So the first game, Notasulga taking on Lynette. This is going to be the debut of head football coach for the Lynette Panthers, Coach Chip Siegel. Now, he has taken over for legendary head coach Clifford Story, who won state titles in 2017 and 2019. It's going to be at Dan Washburn Stadium. This time a year ago, Clifford Story, he set the record for the most all-time wins in Lynette, who he beat Dan Washburn, who the stadium is named after. Lafayette is taking on Lochapoka at Dan Washburn Stadium as well. The Pokaway, Rico Newton, they're losing J.C. Hart. He is the 3-star running back that's now committed to Auburn. So you just got an action-packed week 2 of high school football. Thank you, everybody, for watching the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and Facebook. Go and like the Georgia Alabama Sports Live's Facebook and YouTube channel as well. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget that I'm also on WQEE 5 days a week from 2 to 3 as I cover not just all the sports in the Chattahoochee Valley. I cover every sport possible, including the national sports as well. Before I close, a big shout out, congratulations to Damian the Nighthawk Daniels for getting the head coaching position at the Columbus Lions. The former Columbus Lions player, he's got his jersey retired up in the rafters. Number 4, he's got 117 interceptions in his arena career, and he is going to be a fantastic coach. In 2022, he was the defensive coordinator for the Columbus Lions, and I'm looking forward for Coach Daniels. He's currently the defensive backs coach at Carver, and the former Shaw Raider. He's staying here in his hometown, and he is going to do well for the Columbus Lions as they enter a new arena league, as they are entering the American Indoor Football League, and it's going to be a lot of excitement in 2024. Thank you for watching this show on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, and we'll see you next time.